Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Excited to be with you here this morning. As you see in the title, Lumberjack Landlord. For those of you who don't know, 137 units and I don't know, 20 something right now, active and counting, Section 8 voucher tenants. And so what I wanted to talk to you guys about this morning, because I did my boot camp last night. For those of you who don't know, I have a course. Part of that course is a boot camp. That boot camp is every single week for 12 weeks. We meet for, I say an hour, it's usually 2.5, but 2.5 hours. We go through everything you can imagine. So we cover the course stuff first, answer any questions you might have on the course stuff, talk about everybody's kind of strategy, what they're doing, answer questions, but then we jump into the topic of the week. What is happening? So you get kind of an exclusive look-see at what I'm going to talk about the next day, but most importantly, we talk about all the goings on and kind of how to manage them. So what I wanted to do with you guys here today is it was a lot of feedback last night in the boot camp. And they had said, well, geez, we're not really sure we understand it. And some of them are brand new landlords that have no properties. So they're not even landlords technically yet. They're landlord in mindset. They're getting their mind right before they jump into the game and getting educated, skilling up, like I always like to talk about. But what we're going to talk about today is I've seen far too many posts from people saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. And so this is like one of the simplest things you'll ever see. I want to spend time with you guys this morning, actually taking you through the steps of exactly how I did it. I had a call with them on Friday with Section 8 housing, and they call them housing authorities or housing choice or voucher choice program or choice voucher program. They call them all sorts of different things. At the end of the day, it's what we all know, Section 8. They want to get away from that moniker for a bunch of different reasons, but I know why. I'm not going to talk about it on the channel. So that being said, one of the really interesting things that we're going to talk about is we're going to look at exactly how I do what I do when I try and get more than market rent or more than fair market rent from Section 8. The first place you have to start is create that foundation. What is the foundation? Let's talk about first Section 8 housing. Section 8 housing is essentially they have a voucher program, and that can mean based on their income that Section 8 is going to pay anywhere from 40% or 30% of their rent all the way up to 100% of their rent. Now, that voucher is worth more in different parts of the country based on where you are and what the quote unquote fair market rent, FMR, and that comes out once a year from the government. They actually produce the number and say, this is what the number is going to be. So without further ado, I'm literally going to take you guys through it step by step. There should be no questions. There should be no confusion. I'm taking you through step by step of exactly what I do and process I follow. So without further ado, I'm actually going to share my screen. I'm sure I have lots of embarrassing things in the background, but don't worry about it. Let's see here. Nope, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pop this out over here. Oh, come on, give me that. There you go. So I won't be able to see your questions for a time being, but that's okay. I'm not looking for your questions yet. We will cover them. So I'm going to share my screen, and here is what you shall see. All right. We are sharing our screen. So you see in this screen right here, this is the wonderfulness that is the Google or the Bing. So if we look at this, the thing that I'm looking up, literally step by step, HUD.gov. HUD.gov, but I want to get more directly to it. So I'm doing FMR, fair market rent. So I click on this lovely button right here. Here's what's cool. This talks about fair market rents, 40th percentile rents. Look at this right here, 2024, 23, 22, 21, 20. So you have all the historical information. You can even select later years than that. What's really interesting is we go to 2024. It's right here, but it's as simple as clicking on this button. Click here for fiscal year 2024. Now, I'm going to go into my other screen real quick, and I want to see Somebody give me a town. First one to throw it up, I show that town. And yes, there's a couple second delay. So I'll wait for the first person to throw me a town. Because we want this to be interactive and help our people out. And so I'll do a little service announcement. For those of you who think that this is a wrong thing to do, let me tell you this. When you educate landlords about what the cost and process is for Section 8, guess what happens? You get more units. That's what we want to do. We want to promote landlords putting units into the Section 8 housing program. Now, there are a bunch of caveats to that. You can see my rant a couple of weeks ago. You have to do it right. But Clint LeClaire, man, Clint, you crushed it right on it. Oh, and Duchess, you're on there too. All right, hold on one second. Awesome. I saw Clint first. Sorry. We'll do Clint. So we're changing. So let me just get out of the screen. Sorry, guys. I don't have enough real estate. All right, so here we go. We're going to go to Peoria, Illinois. So it's literally this simple, guys. Peoria. There you go. Right here. Click on Peoria. Watch this. Select HUD FMR area. It's selected. Here are the numbers. Right? This is what it was in 2023. This is what it is in 2024. Now, so 640 to 680. So $40 increase. Now, $40 isn't a whole lot, but percentage-wise, it's a pretty healthy number. You know, you're talking what 640. So you're talking 8%, 7%, you're seven-ish percent. Not bad. 7% increase. Then you look at these one bedrooms, they went from 707 to 756, 896 to 965, 1164 to 1258, 1211 to 1293. This is what your housing authority will approve in almost all likelihood. There are occasions where for some reason they are under market. Makes less than no sense. Under market meaning under FMR. That might mean that there's a supply demand issue. There might be too much supply, and so they have no trouble filling units. If you're in most parts of the country, that's not true. Most parts of the country is starving for Section 8 housing. Most parts, okay? So when we look at this number, this is the number that you can request of Section 8. Now, what's really interesting, and a lot of things that people don't know, is this is how you do that process. So again, we'll start it all over again. I saw that Duchess put in there, was it Colorado Springs? Yeah, cool. We'll do Colorado Springs next. Colorado Springs, again, right here, you type it right here into the Google machine or the big machine. Fair market rents, scroll down, click here for FY 2024 FMRs, click on the button, and we're going to go to Colorado Springs now. Golly, here we go. Colorado Springs. There we go, Colorado Springs. And we're going to hit the button. Okay. So this is a great example of how fine-toothed this can get. Look at Colorado Springs. There are zip codes within Colorado Springs that are extremely expensive. Look at those numbers. Holy Toledo. 8118. Dear heavens. Now, there's also parts that are much less expensive. Right here. 80833. But this is the Colorado Springs. But guys, it's literally this simple. Okay? It's literally this simple. You can't ask for any easier than this. So let me transition. So we're talking about this. We're looking up the different towns. It's that easy for you guys to do this. Don't leave the live stream to go do this. Just be patient. I have more to teach you, I promise. So if we look at this number, right, we're saying, hey, those numbers, absolutely unbelievable. Then they say, okay, I want to know how you do it, right? I need to actually understand the process. So I've walked you through the process of this is how you discover them. Now, what's the process for actually getting the rent? People think, oh, that's right. So the number goes up to that. Cool. Section 8 will be contacting me with raising their rent. Guys, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. It's not how it works at all. Here's how it actually works. Think of Section 8 being run as a typical government entity, right? Not particularly ahead of the curve, usually behind the curve, and always not knowing all of the policies that are in place. But they get a bucket of money from the feds, a bucket. That bucket pays for all of their people, all of their vouchers, right? But it's not based on the FMR of that year for all of those units. Think about that. So they'll have, out of 5 landlords, you'll have 5 landlords that are priced all differently on their units. You have the super lazy landlord, and that's not a shot at Dion. Dion is up on this stuff. He's tight. So this is all of the other, like the real lazy landlords, the ones that don't do any of the work. They don't watch the numbers. They're just like, I've been charging $1,000 a month for it. It's fine. Even though FMR is $1,275. You can never go backwards. You can never go backwards. I wanted to show you guys another thing. This is a sample letter. Oops, I got to minimize it so I can actually read the whole thing. This is a sample letter. And let me tell you, this is one of the worst sample letters I've ever seen in my entire life. This sample letter is horrible. This sample letter gets sent. I can get more than, so HOA Pres, I can get more than FMR from Section 8. And that's what I'm going to teach. So this is a sample letter of something that a landlord wrote back on his form that he got sent, clicks on the link. And this is the excuse stuff that he wrote back. Absolutely silly, right? Absolutely silly. Let's see here. I'll share that. I'll share this horrible letter. All right. You guys see this letter? So here is this letter. Dear landlord, HUD regulations require Section 8 landlords provide information regarding proposed lease renewals and rent increases at least 60 days prior to the commencement of a lease renewal. This is really important. Some states don't require you to actually renew the lease. Some states allow you to get the FMR increase and not actually enter into a new lease. Depending on the tenant is dependent upon whether or not I'll enter into a new lease, or I will just give them a price adjustment saying this is what the new price adjustment is going to be. I, in my course, have a letter that we send. It gives all the particulars and it says, this is what we're going to be doing. This is how much you're currently paying in rent and what your responsibilities are. This is how much it's going to. But in most states, that's only a 30-day process. In some states or some communist areas on the West Coast, it's something crazy like, well, they have to okay it and not get denied and blah, 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 blah. No, in most states that are, thinking a little bit and don't have all these ridiculous framework and rules in place that are just absolutely asinine, they actually do something different. They allow you to give 60 days prior to the commencement of a new lease. So if I want to renew this, so if I know what the number is for January 1, some housing authorities will have that take place. And some of those housing authorities will have it take place literally in October. Basically, they get approved in September. The housing authority will approve that for October. And what are they trying to do? They know you as a landlord needs to give 60 days notice. So that's A, if you're in lease, you can't do it. You have to wait till the lease is expired. B, if you're out of lease and you're just month to month, you can do it, but you still have to give that 60 days notice. And it's basically till the 1st. So it wouldn't be October 1. It wouldn't be November 1. It would be December 1. So you can get it basically a month early because you know what the number is because I just shared with you what the FMR is. Now, the key to this is you might want to be careful because they might have plenty of units. They might not have any waiting lists. They might not have a shortage. All those things are possible. And the way you find that out is you pick up the phone and you call the housing authority. Don't be lazy. This is a full contact sport. This is the way it goes. You do the work and you get rewarded. You don't do the work and you end up a poor schlub landlord that doesn't take care of your place. You give a bad experience for your tenants and then your rents are low. And then I buy your property, or one of the people that follows Lumberjack Landlord buys your property, and we buy it for a discount. We spend some money. We treat our tenant right. We give them a better experience and then we get more money. Money is the last thing that happens. You do all the right things first, and then the money shows up. That's how it works. So when we look at this number, right, this is something where everybody's talking about, again, he thinks that this is a good idea, right? This, you can check for 1 year or for 2 years. Be careful on the 2 years, because in some cases, states that you sign a 2-year lease in, they will actually make you get that notarized. If you're a long distance landlord, that can kind of be a pain in the tail. It can also be a pain in the tail because your tenant does not know how to get things notarized. They don't. So what's really interesting is you can propose the rent right here. Okay. So you can propose the rent right here. Now, this, if I ever find out that somebody that watches my channel does this way, please don't watch my channel, or go back and watch every one of my videos, because this was horrible. This is weak like circus lemonade. Horrible. This was determined as follows: rent guideline board increase 2%. This is something that the owner put in there. Now, obviously, you have to abide by your state rules for rent control and things like that, or by the borough, or by the county, or by the parish, or by the town, or by the city. You have to look at all those rules, but you have to get educated. You have to do the work. Talk to other landlords that are doing this, but don't take their word for it. Don't take their word for it. So rent guidelines board increase 2%. Here is the reasoning. I hate this. I have increased the rent in the past 4 years. Due to inflation, this increase is reasonable. Stupid. That's a horrible crap reason. That's a garbage reason. Well, inflation. Dumb. Don't do it that way. You guys need to build a rent box. You got to build a rent box. I talk about it in my course. I show you how to build the most extensive rent box there is. And that's why I get over market from these places. That's why I get over market from FMR, from Section 8. Now, everyone's like, oh, FMR is the max. Wrong. Well, the most you can get is FMR. Wrong. Still wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Wrong. Still wrong. I get over FMR all the time, because in my market, and this isn't for every single market, but for my market, that's what I understand. That's what I know. That's what I teach. For my market, when we look at those numbers, right, they actually say that FMR in my market for a 2-bedroom was $2,100. Or excuse me, was $1,900. For a 3-bedroom, $1,900. 3-bedroom, $1,900. I rent those out to the market for $2,200. So I call housing and I say, I've got a unit that I would love, that I've seen a lot of people requesting on my ad if I take Section 8. I'm willing to put this in the program and go through the process, but I want to make sure that you know that my rent is $2,200. And they say, nope, it's $1,900. I'm not going to go to $1,900. And I say, but your job is to get units into your program. Right? That's their job. They need to get units and they need to get people housed. So what do? I say, I'm willing to work with you. Again, I can get $2,200 on the market, but maybe it takes longer. Maybe I don't want 100% of my units being market units. I actually want to help the affordable housing program and problems. I want to help that. So I'm willing to take a little bit less for the unit, for the guaranteed income, but also to help out the program, because I want diversification in my portfolio, but naturally I want to help people get into some nice housing. So what I do is I go back to them and say, market's $2,200. You're willing to pay 19. I'm willing to go to 21. And they come back and they say, we can do 2,000. Say, I'm not going to go to 2,000, but I might split the difference with them again and say, all right, I'll do 2075 or 2050. You can actually negotiate with them that way. Now, maybe California, you can't negotiate that way, but there's reason 9,742 why you shouldn't be living in California. So I negotiate with my housing authorities. I do this in 4 different towns. I've never had an issue. Sometimes they've said, we just can't get to that number. Now, if they say they can't get to that number, that's fine. I get it. You can't get to the number, whatever, fine. And I'll just go back to market with it. And then I'll let them know, hey, this unit isn't Section 8 approved. They've already told me that they're not going to approve this for Section 8. That's simple. Some areas have more money than they do units, and they are willing to overpay. There's something called an FMR override. It can be 110% of FMR. It can be 120% of FMR. Yep. There's even some areas that are 140% of FMR. Wouldn't you like to know what those are? But this is the process. You don't write a dumb letter like this. This is stupid. You write it based on your rent box. If you have other units, or build out. So I actually point to my own units. I have one in that building that rents for $16.95, and you want to pay me $13. As an example, on a 1-bedroom. Take them through the steps. Do the work for them so they can justify this for management on their side. That is the goal. That is what you're trying to accomplish. You have to put yourself in a position where you are educating them, because they're not out there shopping for units. They're letting their people, the people of voucher holders, shop for units. And they keep on bringing stuff back and go, what about this one? 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 Not the most efficient way to do it. That's why we as landlords, good landlords, need to be proactive. We need to go to housing and say, I have this unit available. I've gotten a number of requests from Section 8 tenants. I need to understand what it is that you'd be able to approve, because I'm at $2,200. Sometimes I played hardball. You know, a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom with nothing included, blah, 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 was like $1,750. They said, great, we've approved it. $1,750. That's all we're going to pay. Nope. No, thanks. Well, that's the best we can pay. We'll approve that. No, it's not approved. I'm not giving you the unit. And they said, you can have it for $1,950, period, end of story, nothing included. And it took, she's like, well, I can't approve that. I said, that's fine. No problem. Get to somebody that can approve it. You have 48 hours. Literally, I said that. 48 hours later, they sent it back. We approve. We will sign that lease. What was FMR? $1,750. What did I get? $1,950. That's exactly the process that I used to get it. Be respectful, but have facts, not stupid feelings like this. This is crap. Give them the reason. Do the work for them. Show them the numbers. Show them the numbers. When I build up my rent box, I know my stuff, but I'm also looking at the market so that I can see what they're doing. You build that out, and there is no doubt in my mind, literally a majority of the country, you're going to get above FMR approved in a majority of the country. There are always outliers. And quite frankly, if your area, if your Section 8 authority isn't paying market, I wouldn't want to be renting in that market, because I use Section 8 as the bottom, as a baseline. I know that at a minimum, I can get this for rent. And it's because I know all of my markets around me, all of them, they actually pay at least FMR. And in most cases, I can get them above FMR, because I can show them, I'm willing to give you this unit, but this is what it looks like. So that is a crash course in how to get your highest rents through the voucher program and ensure that you're diversifying your portfolio, but also making sure that you're helping the affordability issue. And for those people that are out there and say, that's just disgusting, you're taking more money, go away. You clearly don't own a business. You clearly don't own anything in all likelihood. And I really don't care about your opinion. Your opinion didn't make me, so it sure as hell ain't going to break me. So when I look at that, I say, landlords, it's our job to reach out to our community and be a part of the solution. At the end of the day, I'm not saying that you have to take less than market rent and just live with it. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying that is, if you can create a mutually beneficial relationship with housing, try to do that. It helps you diversify, but it also helps get people into an affordable home that they might not otherwise be able to get into. So, as I always say, we try and create great content for you. Please make sure you hit that like button.